said I'm sorry? What if I make a scene? Wouldn't that make...
Hey everyone, today we're going to be applying the concepts that we learned about this functional planning system to our happy planners. This could also potentially work in other types of planners. You kind of just have to get creative and try it out and see if it will work. If you haven't watched parts 1 and 2 of this series, I'll leave the links in the description below so you can watch them, then come back to this video. We're going to start out with our weekly spread and take the concept of these 3 separate sections and add them to our weekly spread. So one idea would be to keep a very similar layout where you have your categorized section at the top, you have your prioritized section beneath that, and then you have the scheduled section beneath that. But something that I felt could be changed is that we could make more space for our scheduled section if we move the categorized section to our sidebar. Step 1, create a categorize or brain dump section. I am making 4 changes to the categorized section that we saw in the planner pad funnel system. First, I am moving the categorized section to the sidebar so that it's not taking up as much space and isn't as distracting. I'm going to cover up where it says notes with a sticker so I can use the entire sidebar for this section. Second, I am removing the 7 category boxes because I felt like having 7 categories is restricting, but I also don't think that they are actually necessary for this system. If you do still want to categorize your tasks, you could use highlighters to color code them after you write down your tasks, and then create a color coding key so you know which color corresponds to which category. If you don't want the key to take up space on your weekly spread, you could keep it on a separate insert in your planner. Third, because I am not going to be categorizing, I'm going to call this section brain dump instead of categorize. The fourth change I am making is that I am dividing the section into 2 columns so that I can assign due dates to each of the tasks later on. This was not part of the planner pad funnel system, but having due dates, I think, at least helps me to understand what the top priorities actually are. Step 2 is to create a scheduled section. In the planner pad funnel system, step number 2 was called prioritize. However, I felt like the prioritize section was a little redundant and caused us to have to rewrite the tasks too many times, so I decided to remove it. Also, in the planner pad funnel system, I felt like the scheduled section wasn't large enough for me to write out all of the tasks like the makers of the planner recommended to do in that section. So I chose to make the scheduled section about 2/3 of the page. Step 3 is to create a quick tasks section. The scheduled section is for scheduling in blocks of time for you to focus on specific tasks. However, there are some tasks that don't take very long to do and therefore wouldn't really qualify as being long enough to be their own time block. So for example, maybe you need to wrap a gift for someone's birthday, or to pay a bill, or to cancel a subscription. And time blocks are often supposed to be longer than the amount of time that it takes to complete these tasks. I personally like to make them no shorter than 30 minutes, although that's kind of up to your personal preference. So then how do you handle these quick tasks? For this example, I'm choosing to keep track of the quick tasks in a separate section at the bottom of the page that I'm calling quick tasks. Whenever I reach a gap in my schedule in between time blocks, I know to reference my quick tasks section. Another idea, if you don't want to have this separate section set up, is to use all 3 boxes in your vertical spread for your scheduled section. So you just combine quick tasks and scheduled into one. And then you could just write out the tasks at the approximate time when you would work on them, but not necessarily call it a time block. You're just adding a checkbox in the task. I want to emphasize that this is not the only way to apply the planner pad funnel system concepts to a planner. This is only meant to be one example of a way that this could be done. Step 4 is to brain dump everything you need to do, your tasks, activities, and projects. Because there are no categories, you can have a free flow of thoughts and are less likely to forget something during your brain dump. So even though this looks like it's a different section, it's just a continuation of this brain dump. Step 5 is to assign due dates. If there isn't actually a due date, then you can assign an arbitrary due date that you think you can realistically get the task done by. So now I've assigned due dates to everything, and now I'm going to work on the schedule section. Step 6 is to schedule in when to work on each task in the scheduled section and in the quick tasks section. So you fill in your time blocks. Just like the planner pad funnel system, we schedule in when we will be working on the task from our list, starting with the highest priority tasks first. Also, like with the planner pad funnel system, we can start with scheduling in what is due first and making appointments with ourselves to work on those specific tasks. And we can, just as we did with the planner pad, consider if any task can be delegated or postponed to a later week. Once again, it is important to define what the next action step is. As each task gets scheduled, I am drawing an arrow over the due date to indicate that the task has been scheduled into my week. I always like to start by filling in when things like appointments, events, meetings, or other scheduled tasks are taking place first, like the hours I'll be at work that day, since those times are non-negotiable. They're already scheduled. And then I fill in the highest priority flexible tasks around that in my schedule because they don't have to occur at a specific time. It's up to me when I want to work on them. Scheduling blocks of time to focus on the tasks that take approximately 30 minutes or longer to complete in the scheduled section, and then schedule in tasks that take less than 30 minutes to complete in your quick tasks section. Or if you don't want to have a quick task section, you can just add those tasks directly to the scheduled section. And remember that this is an estimate and doesn't have to be perfect. It's just giving us a framework, a structure to work around throughout our day so we don't get distracted from what we should be working on, and we know what to work on. Each gray dot that I've drawn on here represents the start of the time block, and I've written in a number within that gray circle or dot to indicate which hour of the day to start at. You can also include time blocks on here for when your routines are supposed to take place. It's completely up to you how you want to do this. Step 7 is to mark incomplete tasks. If there are tasks that didn't get done, mark that week with a sticky flag and highlight incomplete tasks on both the brain dump list and those that you had scheduled into your week in the color of the sticky flag in the same color as the sticky flag to make it easier to see them. And the reason why I'm suggesting a sticky flag is because for the planner pad funnel system, they had suggested that you fold over the top corner of the page. However, if you have a ton of pages that are folded over in the top corner, that has the potential to get really bulky and it's not going to lay flat in your planner. You are, of course, going to cut off those pages as you complete those tasks, but you can still have this accumulation of folded over pages. And I just feel like for me, that would bother me if my pages were not laying flat in my planner. So I came up with this alternative of using a sticky flag to indicate the weeks that have the incomplete tasks on them. Step 8 is to fill in your scheduled and fixed tasks as you plan out your next week. And then in step 9, just like with the planner pad funnel system, you start by reviewing all of those weeks that have tasks that haven't been completed yet, and you migrate any tasks to the week that you are currently planning out by scheduling them into your week, not adding them to your brain dump list. They just go straight into the week. And then you start your brain dump and you follow steps 1 through 7 again. Once all of a week's tasks are completed, you simply remove the sticky flag from that week. And if you want to reuse your sticky flags, you could put them onto a laminated piece of paper or some sort of plastic coated surface so that they don't lose their stickiness. If you find that the brain dump section is distracting, you can use a piece of scrapbook paper to cover it, but this is completely optional. It's just if you want to do this. I cut a rectangle to approximately 24.7 centimeters by 4.3 centimeters, and then folded the top of the rectangle inward by 1.3 centimeters. I used adhesive tape to adhere the scrapbook paper to the page by adding the adhesive tape onto that 1.3 centimeter tab. And then I secured the bottom portion of the scrapbook paper at the very bottom of the planner page by attaching a small glue dot to the scrapbook paper. This way, I only have to see the brain dump section when I want to see it. And that would be during the times when I am actually planning, not throughout the week when I am completing the tasks, so I don't get distracted. So this is just one example of a way that you can apply that concept of the funnel system to a different planner, such as the Happy Planner. If you have more ideas for other ways that you could use the funnel system in a different planner, please leave your ideas in a comment below, and you could help someone else out with setting up their planner. And that's what this community is all about. We're here to share our ideas with each other and help each other out. For more ideas on functional planning, check out this video next, and I'll see you next Saturday. Bye.
What if I said I'm sorry? What if I make a scene? Wouldn't that make